Trauma could be a powerful force in our life, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. But what happens when our brain decides to block out traumatic experiences? Is it a defense mechanism, or does it do more harm than good? Many of us carry the weight of our past trauma, sometimes without even realizing it. You might have gaps in your memory, feel emotionally numb, or have reactions that seem disappropriate for your current situations. This can be a sign that your brain has blocked traumatic experiences as a way to protect you. You might have tried to move on by ignoring these feelings or avoiding situations that trigger them. But this strategy often don't address the root cause. Ignoring and blocking trauma can lead to ongoing stress, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection from yourself and others. Imagine understanding why your brain blocked trauma and learning ways to safely uncover, heal these hidden wounds. This episode will provide insight into how trauma blocking works and offer practical advice for starting your healing journey. First, we'll explore what trauma is and how it impacts your brain. Then I'll explain the mechanism behind the trauma blocking and why our brains might choose to hide certain memories. We'll discuss the psychological and emotional effects on blocked trauma and how it can manifest in our daily life. I also share signs that might indicate you're experiencing blocked trauma, and I'll give you exercises that you can try to help unblock those memories. But before we dive into that, I want to introduce myself. For those who is new here, I'm your host here, Rose, and I'm just one woman with one voice trying to help other women heal. So if you're a woman on a healing journey and you're looking for a safe place, resources, or to be surrounded with love and support, then you are in the right place. We'll love for you to be part of our sisterhood. So hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and don't miss another episode of a Sisters Love podcast. Oh, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, Sister, Let's Heal Together, where we'll go deeper into the conversations that we start here. Share our stories and get the support that we need to turn that pain into power. If you're ready to understand the capacities of trauma and how your brain might be protecting you in ways that you didn't know, stick around. By the end of this episode, you'll have the clear understanding of trauma blocking and practical steps to begin your journey towards healing.
Welcome to A Sister's Love, the podcast that helps women who are healing by having those deep conversations, giving practical advice and words of encouragement. Come on, let's talk about it.
So today on this episode of A Sister's Love podcast, trying to identify if you have blocked trauma memory, we're going to go into a story. I'm going to tell a story about me experiencing blocked trauma and how I navigated it to help you understand how to navigate it yourself. So let me go into the story. I'm going to tell the story and then we're going to break it down, and then I'm going to give you some insights and everything from there. For a long time, I struggled with remembering the good memories in my life. People would share stories about fun times we had or memorable events that I just couldn't recall them. It felt like a section of my memory was missing, and it led to some awkward situations where friends and family thought I was lying or simply had selective memory. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of this was related to my children. Childhood, they would excitedly tell me about things that we did together or special moments we shared, and I would have no recall of them. It was incredibly painful to feel disconnected from those cherished moments. Initially, I chalked it up to getting old and a natural forgetting about things, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. When I began my healing journey, I started to understand that this wasn't normal forgetfulness. I learned that my unable to remember the good times was actually linked to the trauma I had experienced. My brain had developed a mechanism to block out those memories as a way to protect me from the pain and trauma that I was experiencing. See, having PTSD meant that all my negative experiences was right here in the forefront of my memory, overshadowing all the positive ones. This realization was both shocking and enlightening. It helped me to understand why I had such a hard time recalling happy moments, or why my brain was often clouded by past trauma. My brain was overloaded, and because I had PTSD, my bad experience took over my memory. But I know in some cases, people don't remember either the good or the bad. They lose the whole chapter of their life. So let's talk about why this happened, but let's first talk about what trauma is. Trauma can be a distressing experience that overwhelm our ability to cope, leaving us feeling helpless, hopeless, and unable to move on. It affects not only our mental and emotional health, but also our brain physical structure and function. Now, how exactly does the brain block traumatic experience? Let's talk about the mechanisms and the reasons behind the process. First, we can have the fight, flight, or freeze response. When we encounter a traumatic event, our brain immediately responds is to protect us. Let's go. This response is controlled by our brain. The part of our brain responds from processing emotions and survival instincts. When that is triggered, it releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, preparing our body to either fight, flee, or freeze. Then our brain, which is responsible for forming and organizing memories during the traumatic events, the high level of stress hormones can impair the ability to process and store the memories correctly. This can result in a fragment, incomplete, or distorted memory of the traumatic event. And let's not forget the disassociation. Disassociation is a common defense mechanism where the brain disconnects from the traumatic experience to protect the individual from overwhelming stress and pain. This can lead to a gap in memory or a incomplete to recall the traumatic event. But why does the brain do this? Well, the primary reason is protection. The brain blocks traumatic memories to shield us from intense emotional pain associated with the trauma. By blocking these memories, the brain attempts to protect us from the stress and to allow us to continue to function. Okay. Another reason is to protect overload. Trauma can cause a overload of information and emotions that the brain cannot process all at once. Blocking certain memories help manage this overload and prevents the brain from becoming overwhelmed. And finally, blocking traumatic memories can be an adaptive mechanism that allow individuals to focus on immediate survival and day-to-day functions. While it can be helpful in the short term, this mechanism can become problematic if the memory remains unresolved and continue to affect one's life. Understanding these mechanisms and reasons can provide insight into why our brain blocks traumatic memories and how this affects our overall well-being. In the next part of this episode, we're going to discuss the physiological and emotional effects of blocking trauma and how you can begin to address these hidden wounds. So now that we talked about how the brain blocks trauma memories, let's move on to the physiological and emotional effects of the process. When trauma is blocked, it doesn't just disappear. Instead, it manifests in various ways that impact our mental and emotional health. For instance, you might experience chronic anxiety or depression without understanding why. This can be incredibly frustrating because it feels like something is wrong, but you cannot quite put your finger on it, right? Another effect is emotional numbness. You might find it hard to feel joy or sadness, or you might have general sense of disconnection from your emotions. This numbness is a way your brain protects you from feeling the full impact of the trauma. But it also means that you missed out on a full range of human emotions, right? Block trauma can also affect your relationships. You might struggle with trust issues, find it hard to form close bonds, or even push people away. This unresolved trauma creates a barrier that might make it difficult to connect with others on a deeper level. Now, let's talk about some signs that you might be experiencing block trauma. One major sign is the gap in your memory, especially regarding significant life events. If you find it hard to remember certain periods of your life, this could be a sign that your brain has blocked out traumatic experiences. Emotional reactions that seems out of portion, like to situations that at hand, can also be a sign for anger or a situation don't warrant such strong emotions. This is because unresolved trauma is fueling the current reaction. You might also experience physical symptoms like unexplained aches and pains, fatigue, or heartache or headaches. Our body often hold on to trauma manifesting in our physical body when the mind is overwhelmed. Another sign is the difficulty of maintaining stable relationships. If you find yourself repeatedly pushing people away or struggling with trust, this could be a result of blocked trauma. Lastly, if you feel a general sense of disconnection from yourself and surrounding with others, this could indicate that you are dealing with block trauma. You might feel like you're going through the emotions of life without really engaging with it. To help you identify if you experience blocked memories due to trauma, I want to give you a few journal prompts to help you start recalling some of those hidden memories. So grab your journal, a piece of paper, or your computer. I'll wait. Okay. If you can't find one, it's okay, because I got you covered. I'll add these journal prompts in our Facebook group called Sister Let's Heal Together in the Resource Center. To get access to all of them, all you got to do is click the link in the show notes. Okay? Let's say Sister Let's Heal. Now, when doing these journal experiences, you will need to find a cozy spot where you won't be interrupted. Okay? Now, let's start with some journaling prompts to help you explore whether you might be experiencing blocked memories. Write down your response as honestly and openly as you can. Now, let's go into the first prompt. Memory gaps. Now, think about the different periods of your life. Are there any significant gaps? For example, do you have trouble recalling specific years, events, or experiences? Write about any period in your life that felt fuzzy or unclear on how that make you feel. Okay? Recognizing the memory gaps can be a key indicator of blocked memories due to trauma. Writing about these gaps help you to become aware of the potential area where trauma might have impacted your memory. Now, prompt number 2, emotional reactions is the name of the prompt. Recall your emotional response to a certain situation or trigger. Do you find yourself having strong emotional reactions that seem out of proportion to that current situation? For example, feeling intense fear or anger or sadness in response to a minor event. Write about this experience and what might have triggered them. Intense emotional reactions can be a sign that unresolved trauma is fluent in your current feelings. Understanding these reactions can help you identify underlying issues. Now, prompt number 3, physical symptoms. Consider any unexplained physical symptoms you might have, such as chronic pain, headache, fatigue, or other things that's going on with your body. Write about these symptoms and when they tend to occur. Our body often holds onto trauma manifesting as physical symptoms. Recognizing these can be a clue that there might be a blocked memory affecting your health. Prompt number 4, dreams and flashbacks. Think about a dream In any flashbacks you might experience, do you have recurring dreams or nightmares that seem related to the past events? Do you have a sudden intense memory that pops up without warning? Write about these experiences in detail. Dreams and flashbacks can be the mind way of processing unresolved trauma. Paying attention to these can provide insight into blocked memories. Now, prompt number 5, relationship challenges. Reflect on your relationships with others. Do you find it difficult to trust people, form close connections, or maintain stable relationships? Write about any challenges you face in your relationships and how they might relate to your past experiences. Relationship difficulties can often stem from unresolved traumas, blocked memory. Understanding these challenges can help you see patterns that might be linked to your trauma. As you write, be patient with yourself. It's okay if some memories are difficult or painful to recall. Just acknowledge whatever comes up and know that this is part of your healing journey. Take the time with each prompt and allow yourself to explore your thoughts and feelings fully. If you find any specific memory or emotion particularly distressing, take a break. Take a freaking break, okay? At the end of the journal exercises, take a moment to thank yourself for taking the steps toward healing. Identifying the blocked memories is the first step in unlocking the process. If you found this exercise helpful, we have many of these like this in our Facebook group called Sister Let's Heal Together. Well, that's it for this episode. But before we go, I want to leave you with this. I want you to be patient with yourself and understand that healing is a process and a journey. It's not about reaching the end quickly. It's about discovering yourself along the way. If you're unable to remember the things right away, that is okay. It means that you might not be ready to process those memories yet. Trust that when the time is right, those memories will surface. Don't rush it. Everything comes at the right time. Oh yeah, before I forget, if you find this episode helpful, in our next episode, we'll be taking our conversation about blocked memories due to trauma to the next level by diving deep into the journey of unblocking those memories with the power of energy healing. Who will be joining us? Cheryl, a spiritual coach, master healer, and a best-selling author. She shares her experience and practical strategies on how uncovering and healing blocked memories can help us become better. Get ready to be inspired by Cheryl's discussion how energy healing can help you access and process hidden trauma, allow you to reclaim your memories, and transform your life. She'll share actionable steps and techniques from her 30 years of spiritual practices and healing experiences that can apply to your own healing journey, okay? We also explored the essential roles of self-compassion and professional support in these transformations, okay? This episode leads to the foundation by helping you understand the signs of blocked memory and how trauma can impact your mind and emotions. Next time, we'll build on that by showing you how to use energy healing to unlock and heal those memories. Don't miss it. This episode promised to provide you not just insight, but practical tools from transforming your life and step into your greatest self. This episode laid the foundation by helping you understand the signs of blocked memories and how trauma can impact your mind and emotions. Next time, we'll build on that by showing you how to use energy healing to unlock and heal those memories. Don't miss it. This episode promised to provide not just insight, but practical tools for transforming your life and stepping into your greatest self.